Coffee and convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider, man. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, make sure you guys get those likes up, wipe them feet, and also hit that subscribe button. If you guys are not subscribed yet, I see Green Dot Gang is already heavy. Paper Chase Mace. What's good, my brother? One Nation. Salute to one of the My Fathers, CGR, as well. Appreciate you guys for being here. As always, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell if you have not yet. Also, salute to everybody listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Salute. I was going to do a show yesterday, you guys. I had some family stuff pop up. I had some teacher-parent meetings. And some other things that I had to do with the kids. So had to push the Hangover Monday show to today. So we're going to make sure to make up for it. We got the Coffee and Convo today. And then later on tonight, we have the AFC West Roundup also. Me, Darcy, and Ben. I don't know if Ben's going to be able to make it. Hopefully he will. But if not, me and Darcy will hold down the fort. So that will be 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you guys pull back up. We'll talk about everything AFC West week 3. Let me see. Paper Chase says, nah, it ain't true. JPJ's back at right guard. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that here in a second. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack with this whole Pete Carroll presser. We're going to get to it, you guys. But, I mean, honestly, I don't really know what to say about this loss. I mean, as a Raider fan that has loved this team for over 40 years of my life, right? I'm used to some ugly ass losses. Like I am. I've seen a ton of them. I mean, look, I've never seen a championship in my life. God would put me on planet Earth 5 days before the Raiders win their last Super Bowl, right? I've told this story a million times, you guys. Raiders beat the Redskins 83-84. You know, I was born a few days before that, told the story. My dad wasn't even at the hospital. He was at a Raiders Super Bowl party. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've seen a ton of bad losses. This one, low-key, really did some damage. And what I mean by that is this. Pete Carroll, we are very, very happy to have you here in the building. You know, we went through a tough situation as of late, and look, we can go back, dates back decades, you guys, of this like rotating door at the head coaching position, right? This offseason, a lot of us said, 1A, Ben Johnson, 1B, Pete Carroll, or you can reverse that. Doesn't really matter. And we'll see who wins this Sunday. We'll talk about that here as well as Pete Carroll faces Ben Johnson at Allegiant Stadium. But Pete, you're building the culture up. Right. And great. A lot of smiles in the building. We were really excited about this coaching staff. Chip Kelly coming over after winning the national championship and that offense looking so explosive at Ohio State. Max Crosby doing nothing but singing your praises. Every player in that building singing your praises all offseason. These type of losses tear down that builder, that culture that you're trying to build. Okay. What I mean by that is you go out to Washington, D.C., which is difficult to face a team coming off of an NFC championship appearance last year, but they were without Jaden Daniels. Okay. They have Marcus Mariota, the ageless wonder, backup, quarterback 2, goes out there and absolutely just obliterates our defense. In the ground game, 41 yards on 5 carries. He averaged 8.2 a clip. He was very efficient in the passing game. Didn't have to do too much. Went 10 for 15, 141 yards in the air. Didn't have any touchdowns, but didn't have any turnovers, but also wasn't sacked once. As this O-line looked all pro week 3 against our Raiders. A defensive line could not get it done against Marcus Mariota and company. But not only that, you give up over 200 yards on the ground, which is really, really embarrassing. And I want to give Marcus a little bit more credit. I apologize, you guys. 6 carries for 40 yards. He was 15 for 21 for 207 yards. And he also did have a touchdown with no turnovers. So my apologies. I was still going off of my brain is still fried right now. But got to give Mariota his credit. He did have a touchdown, averaged 9.9, a clip in the air, did have over 200 yards. Pete, you're building this culture, and these are the kind of losses that break that culture down. You go out there and you face a team that had over 200 yards on the ground. A backup, a career backup, a third string, fourth stringer in Jeremy McNichols lead you guys in rushing yards. Speaking to the Commanders here, a guy that has been not a good player up to this point. He had 4 carries for 78 yards on the ground. He had a long of 60. It was one of the most embarrassing plays that I've seen from a Raiders defense in a while. Jeremy Chin blows up the play, couldn't wrap up. Landon Roberts, our middle linebacker, starting middle linebacker, couldn't get the kid down. Max comes over there, tries to wrap up, can't get him down. And next thing you know, it's an end zone party for Jeremy McNichols and company. This team just looks defeated. It looks defeated. All the excitement initially that we have for this team is gone already in week 3. I didn't know that was even possible, but we're here now. And we're only 1-2, you guys. We're still technically in second place in our division because the Chiefs are 1-2, Denver's 1-2, and of course the Chargers are 3-0 now. They get a chance to face Dart, Jackson Dart this week. So we'll see if that Giants team can rally around him. But I digress. Pete Carroll, we love you. And as a fan base, we truly, truly believe in you. But right now, up to this point, we feel like we've been sold, a bad bill of goods. Week 1, we go out to New England. We find a way to win that ball game on the road. We're all happy. Wasn't the greatest football displayed, right? But we found a way to leave New England and, pretty healthy as well, but with a dub, more importantly. Vrabel's first game. Then we faced the Chargers, and it was kind of a Chargers trying to give us the game, and we just wouldn't take it. We wouldn't take it. With all these veterans on this roster, Geno and Max, and all these other guys, Landon Roberts, that linebacking core who was miserable week 3. And we're going to go over that. Devin White looked terrible. Jermaine Pratt looked terrible. Those guys did not look good against the Commanders. We need some type of continuity. We need some type of, we need you guys to show up every week. These were 2 bad losses, week 2 and week 3. What was the thing that we said, you guys, all off season? It was, we're going to compete. That's the motto, right? It's just win, baby, but it's compete. Even if we lose, it's going to look pretty good, right? I mean, because a lot of us don't expect this team to go win a championship, you guys, in year 1 with Pete Carroll. A lot of us were 9 wins, 10 wins, 8 wins. The Pete Carroll special around that 500 range, right? Which I can live with. I'm okay with that. But this team doesn't look like it can rattle off another 2 or 3 wins this season. And we're facing the Titans, the Browns, who just beat Green Bay 13-10. And Myles Garrett is going to feast on this offensive line, you guys, whenever they come to Allegiant Stadium. They'll be there soon. And Myles Garrett is going to have a field day with this terrible, terrible O-line that we have out there. But the thing is this. You're building this culture. We're tearing it down back-to-back weeks. These losses are ugly. They're ugly. I can live with losing 20-17 and 27-24, 27-20. I can live with losing close games to better teams. Honestly, you guys, the Chargers are a better football team than us. They're coming off of a playoff lost last year, but a playoff berth, and they're 3-0 right now. The Commanders, even without Jaden Daniels, is one of the better teams in football. You know, they definitely have one of the most oldest rosters in football, but they're very well coached. Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury. They have a great GM in Adam Peters. So look, I'm not taking anything away from the Commanders. They put a hell of an ass whooping on our Raiders, 41-24, which was just miserable. But this team just doesn't look competitive. Geno has no chance to throw the football. This O-line is just one of the worst O-lines I've ever seen the Raiders have, ever. And I've been a fan since the late 80s, all throughout the 90s, the 2000s. I've seen some rough O-lines. I've seen some terrible O-lines. And to me, this looks like one of the worst O-lines that I've ever seen the Raiders assemble. And, you know, Pete, Chip, you know, those guys put this together with Brennan Carroll. And we're going to talk about Brennan Carroll here in a second as well. But it's not – I'm not going to give Geno, you know, a ton of wiggle room here also, because even when they're protecting, Geno's holding on to the football a little too long. Am I the only one that's seeing this, you guys? Honestly, even when the O-line holds up, Geno was holding on to the rock a little too much. And when you take a look at the tape, Tucker's open, you know, here and there, Dante is open. You know, you got Brock out there. It's a ton of players, you know, that I've seen on tape. I've watched this, and I damn near want to do a breakdown these last 2 weeks, do a film breakdown, because, you know, Geno is just holding on to the rock with open receivers. Trey Tucker's been open a ton. And thank God for him. He had a massive performance, 3 touchdowns. I think he had like 145 in the air. You know, Tucker is like damn near on his way to having an all-pro year in a 2-15 season. You know what I mean? But I'm not here to say that I expect Geno to go out there and win this division and even get to the playoffs. He's technically a bridge guy. He's not a guy that's supposed to go out there and win you a ton of games. That's why you draft Ashton Jeanty at 6. That's why you have Brock Bowers, the former first rounder from last year, why Tom Telesco took him at 13. Those are your quarterback security blankets. You know, Brock has been beat up. The knee injury has definitely hampered him. You know, he didn't have a great game by Brock standards, right? I mean, he had 4 catches for 38 yards. He was only targeted 5 times, and he still had the knee brace on. It's clear that he's still affected by that, and we're going to need him to step up big against the Bears, because it looks like Michael Mayer may be out because of that concussion. Get better, Michael Mayer. We'll get a better understanding of where he is, you know, getting healthy this week sometime. But I digress. You have Brock Bowers. You have Ashton Jeanty. That was the only reason, you guys, that I was really excited about Geno Smith being the Raiders quarterback. Honestly, that was the only reason. I'm like, okay, well, Geno has 2 security blankets. He has a phenomenal tight end, probably the best tight end in football. Not probably, he is. And then you have Ashton Jeanty, who is this generational type talent that I still believe he is. But, you know, when you watch the film, he's a phenomenal talent. These guys just cannot do anything up front for him. But I was excited about Geno because, once again, Pete and Chip, they love to run the football. You go out and get Jeanty in the draft. That's why I was excited to get Jeanty at 6. Most of the time, you guys, what have I said the 5 years of me covering this team? I've always said bad football teams draft running backs in round 1. Now, there are some, you know, anomalies here and there. You watch the Lions go get Jahmyr Gibbs, and they're one of the better teams in football, right? It happens. But most of the time, bad football teams draft running backs in round 1. But if you're going to run the football a ton, go get Ashton Jeanty. Go get the guy that is coming off of a remarkable, one of the greatest years at the collegiate level ever in the existence of football. Here's the stat for you guys, for those who don't follow me on Twitter. And some people may, I know what some of these comments may say. Jeanty is only 83 yards off of being a top 5 rusher in football right now with this disgusting O-line. He's only 83 yards off from Javonte Williams and the Dallas Cowboys. 83 yards. With home run ability that he is literally one carry away from being a top 5 rusher in football right now, even with this miserable O-line. We have to stop playing the blame game here. And mind you, Ashton Jeanty is like 22 right now, like 22nd in the NFL in rushing yards. But once again, that kind of tells you that Not a lot of teams are running the football effectively right now. I mean, Saquon Barkley, you guys, sits at 10 in football right now with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that offense looks terrible right now. But Genty is 50 yards off from Saquon Barkley right now. 50 yards away from being a top 10 rusher. 83 yards away from being a top 5 rusher. This O-line, this is all Pete Carroll. I can't blame Brennan Carroll, you guys. Honestly, did he ever really, truly earn this job? I mean, what has he done up to this point to seem that, to make us feel like he earned this job? Okay? Nepotism at its finest. And I get it. Look, I'm a father. 74 years old. Pete Carroll has nothing to lose here, you guys. If he gets fired, who gives a shit? He's on his way out anyway. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care. Why not sign? Why not bring on your son? See what he can do. Get him a couple paychecks. Take care of his grandkids. It makes sense. It makes sense because Pete Carroll has nothing to prove to anybody, even us, even his fan base. There's nothing to prove. Champion at USC, champion in Seattle. Pete has nothing to prove. But that hire was one of the most skeptical ones that we had all offseason. I think a lot of us were like, okay, Brennan Carroll. All right, well, at least we have Joe Philbin in the room. You know, Joe Philbin's up there with Chip calling the plays. I mean, helping him offensively, and it's doing nothing. We did see, you know, the offensive line get a little better as Colton got healthier last year, right? And, you know, they moved on from, you know, our former offensive line coach and brought in Joe Philbin, and they got a little better as the season went on. Mind you, you know, we did face some bad teams at the end of the season: New Orleans, Jacksonville, Atlanta, you know, the Chargers the last week of football, and, you know, they were already on their way to the playoffs. But this is the thing. When you have Joe Philbin in the building, and he has done some remarkable things, honestly, with offensive lines in Miami and wherever the hell he's been. I don't want to go over his track record here. But this is the thing, and I may be all over the place here, you guys, and my apologies because my brain is still fried from the crazy last 2 weeks that I've had. We don't have the personnel. This is a Pete Carroll thing for 2 reasons. You didn't upgrade the offensive line in the offseason. You brought in Alex Kappa, who had one of the worst seasons in NFL history last year at the guard spot for Cincinnati. You go draft 2 guys in Caleb Rogers and, you know, Charles Grant out of William and Mary. They're inactive damn near every week, and they're not ready, right? This is what Pete keeps preaching in these pressers. They're not ready. If they're not ready, Pete, then why were you and SpyTech more active in terms of bringing this whole thing together? What did this O-line show last year that they were going to get better? I know at the end of the season, some people are going to say, oh, at the end of the season, they got better. Yeah, Colton Miller got stronger. We played some miserable football teams at the end of the season. What made you think that Parham was going to be the guy at left guard? What made you think that Jordan Meredith was going to be able to hold up at the center position? What made you think, regardless if Tom Telesco was the one to go out and draft him with JPJ, that this would be a better situation with Meredith at the center position than JPJ, a Remington winner out there at Oregon, second-round guy? And now, you know, he's dealing with a concussion, and, you know, he was active. He could have played this past week, but they chose to go with Alex Kappa because they wanted some continuity, which is terrible. 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 Alex Kappa is not a better football player than JPJ. A concussed JPJ is better than Alex Kappa at this point in his career. Glaze had a really bad game. Gave up a ton of pressures. I believe he gave up 2 sacks as well at right tackle. What's going on? What's going on? Pete, you chose to run with the same unit that we had last year. You chose to hire your guy, Brendan Carroll. This is a Pete special, you guys. This is Pete Carroll. Nobody else should be to blame for this. All the fire Brendan Carrolls. Okay, cool. Get rid of him. Then what? Is it Joe Philbin season? Okay, let's see what he can do. I'm here for it. But this is Pete Carroll, you guys. This is Pete Carroll. I'm not beating up Chip Kelly. I don't even know what this guy's offense even looks like yet. I have no clue what Chip Kelly's offense looks like because we haven't gotten an opportunity to see it. I think the only time that we've gotten an opportunity to see what Chip Kelly can do was that first scripted drive against New England when we got the football for the first time offensively. And we went down and put up 7 with Trey Tucker. I think that's the only time that we've got a real opportunity to see what Chip Kelly can do offensively. He's working with a piece of shit offensive line. For some reason, you know, you go out and get my guy, Jack Bech, which I think is going to have a phenomenal career. You don't see him a ton out there. You're not trying to get him really, really involved in the offense. This is a Chip. It's not a Chip Kelly. It's a Pete Carroll problem. It's a Pete Carroll problem. This isn't Chip Kelly, you guys. It's not Brendan Carroll. This is Pete. And I know that he went up and took accountability at his presser yesterday and you know, oh, this is what I did and this was my mistake and blah, blah, blah. And Pete is a politician, you guys. Pete has been around for a long time. He knows how this is done. I don't think that Pete believes in the existing football team that he has as much as he puts it out to be. I just don't. I don't. You know, if you go out and get Geno, it's okay. I'm going to die on that sword because Geno Smith's my guy. Speaking about Pete Carroll, right? You know, I'll go get Genty at 6 because, you know, I love to run the football. He's Marshawn Lynch 2.0. You know, at least, you know, we'll be able to run the football effectively. It hasn't worked. These past 2 weeks have been miserable. The offensive sucked bad. The defense looked absolutely terrible against this Commanders team. And you know the crazy thing, you guys, about this performance that gets me even more upset outside of Jeremy McNichols leading them in rushing, outside of, you know, Ja'Cory Crosby-Mayer, who is their running back 1 now, you guys, with you know, Eckler out for the season. He was their fourth leading rusher, had 8 carries for 26 yards. He only averaged 3.3 a clip. He did have a touchdown, but Merritt did not have a great game. The thing that gets me upset with this is Debo only had 2 catches for 11 yards. He's an X factor on that offense. You look at some of these other guys, you know, Zach Ertz didn't have a great game by any means. He had 3 catches for 38 yards. You know, he's been one of the better tight ends in football for a long time. Kind of kept him in check, right? 207 yards in the passing game. Terry McLaurin finally woke up a little bit. He had 4 targets. He had 3 catches for 74 yards, but no touchdown, you know, and honestly, outside of that major miscue, that 60-yard bomb where, you know, we caught him at the goal line and, you know, he fell at the 1-yard line. You take that 1 catch away, that 56 yards, and he probably has under 20 yards receiving. You kept all their major players in check, all their best players offensively in check. And we still lose. The defense looks like dog shit. You're letting a 4th or 5th string running back bounce off of Jeremy Chin, Landon Roberts, and an all-pro and Max Crosby. It's terrible. And I'm not going to go over advanced stats here, you guys. I see a lot of them on Twitter. I see a lot of them on Instagram. People have been sharing with me a bunch of stuff, you know, the PFF numbers. And I seen Scout going to a tangent on Twitter, you know, reading all the Max stuff and the offensive line. I don't need to go into that. I don't care. I know what I seen. It was terrible fucking football. Pete Carroll, let me talk to you as a fan, okay? And you're probably never going to see this, and that's cool. In Seattle, you were the man. You were the savior. You're the guy that went up there and turned that thing around in Seattle. Got him a championship. Damn near had him 2, you know, with a major miscue of not running, you know, Marshawn Lynch there at the end of the game to get you 2 Super Bowls. But you're the savior in Seattle. And you'll go down as the savior forever in Seattle. You will be a made man in the Northwest your entire life. I get that. As a Raider fan, okay, and this is just recent memory, we've had to deal with Josh McDaniels. We've had to deal with Antonio Pierce. We had to deal with watching Jack Del Rio, a Bay Area guy that grew up loving the Raiders, turn this thing around in 2016, take us to the playoffs. Derek Carr breaks his leg. We get blown out by the Texans. Not only that, but 2017, we just turned right back into the Raiders that we all know, right? So it's like and I don't want to, this is a nasty analogy, you guys, but it's just like being a Raider fan is like getting to that point where you're about to, and then you can't. It's like some sick, like fetish. Like as Raider fans, like it's like we get right to that point where we're about to, the climax is coming. And then the kids bust in the room or something. Or something else happens. We've been through some shit, Pete. And the reason why I felt like we were in good hands with Pete Carroll, outside of just, doing what he did in Seattle, doing what he did in USC, everywhere he's been, Pete Carroll has been a phenomenal head coach. And I'm not taking anything away from him. You knew more than anybody. This is why I was excited about Pete Carroll. He's from the Bay, born and raised in San Francisco. He watched the Raiders. He watched the Niners. He knows what this thing means to Raider fans. He knows what it means. He knows what this thing means to us. This is why we all felt it was going to be different. We can take the resume away. We can take all the accolades away. We feel like you're one of us because you come from where the team comes from, and you've seen all the championships. You're old enough to know. You're old enough to have seen all the championships that the Raiders, have gotten in Oakland, Los Angeles, so on and so forth. We're putting all this into your hands, Pete. We trust you. We respect you. We feel like you're one of us, even though this is year one with the Raiders. Things need to change. Things need to really change. I'm talking about if this O-line looks the exact same come Sunday against the Chicago Bears at home at Allegiant Stadium, heads need to be rolling. We need to be looking. Spy Tech needs to be making some calls. If we go out there with Colton Miller at left tackle, Parham at left guard, Meredith at center, Alex Kappa at right guard, and DJ Glaze at right tackle, there needs to be a very, very, very real conversation being had at headquarters in Henderson. Simple and plain. Because it tells me a few things. It tells me that maybe the game has just passed you up if you're still going to roll with the same guys that look terrible these first 3 weeks. Maybe you're just very, very stuck in your ways, like most older people are. I'm getting there. I'm getting there as well. I'm only 41, but I'm getting there. I'm stuck in my ways as well, right? And 3, you just probably don't give a shit. The third one's the most that I'm worried about. Don't give a shit. Things need to change. I don't care if you throw Caleb Rogers out there. I don't care if you throw Charles Grant out there. I don't care if we get Dalton Wagner starting at right. I don't care. Some changes need to be made on that O-line. Parham needs to be benched. I see some people out there trying to save Parham. Oh, it's not his fault. Blah, blah, blah. This wasn't his assignment. Man, listen to me. Fuck all those advanced stats and all this other shit that y'all be going through. Eye test, brother. Eye test. Parham has been terrible. I feel like Parham is like working with Antonio Pierce still. I feel like they're in cahoots. Parham is playing like he's mad about Antonio Pierce getting fired. That's just how I feel. I know I'm being hella extra, but I don't give a shit. I don't need to go into these advanced metrics. I don't need to go into all this, and that. I've been around football my entire life. My entire life. I don't have to sit over here and break down tape and break down film to say that player fucking sucks. Parham is stunk for us at left guard. Terrible. Easy. I'm not saying that Genty's off limits. When did I say that? When did I say that Genty's off limits? When did I say that Max is off limits? Max can be doing better. Nobody's off limits. Nobody's above criticism here. The thing is, once again, you watch football. How do you expect Genty to do anything when right when he touches the football, the opposing defensive line is already in the backfield? Have there been a few plays where Genty has kind of messed up a few opportunities? Definitely. Missed a gap here and there or slipped up in the backfield, tripped up over Michael Mayer? Definitely. Nobody's above criticism. But this is the thing. Genty is in his 4th week of his career. Pete Carroll was in year 145 in football. So I think we need to hold certain people to different standards here. Pete knows football, probably more than 99.9% of people in this world, in this universe. Genty is literally going into week 4 of his young career. So I'm pumping the brakes a little bit with the Ashton Genty hate train. Just not doing it. I still believe in the kid. He's shown signs of being able to go out there and be great. The O-line has failed him miserably. Let me get these supers in real quick. Sky high, 3rd and 1. Laube up the middle, no gain. 4th and 1, same thing. Besides Miller and JPJ, O-line is garbage. No change at center. D-line can't get to the quarterback. What's up with these sky high 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 situations and you're in shotgun formation? What's going on with that? If the QB sneak has been so effective for us up to this point and all you need is a yard, why are you going to Dylan Laube, who has been absolutely just relegated to special teams? In a shotgun situation where you need 1 yard? That's a Chip Kelly thing. Now, I can definitely look at Chip Kelly and say, what the hell are you doing? If we've been able to run that sneak with Geno effectively and all you need is 1 yard, I can live with the fact that Geno doesn't go out there and get the yard. I can live with that. But put him under center, give him an opportunity. Seeing Laube out there when you need 1 yard out there, that kind of shit kills young guys' psyches. It's disgusting. And not even just that. Dylan is my guy, but Dylan's a 6th round guy out of New Hampshire. You just took Ashton Genty at 6. Why the fuck is Genty not out there when you need a yard? Make it make sense, man. A lot of question marks around this team right now. But once again, it all starts with Pete Carroll here, you guys. But Pete, if you really care, man, let me catch up on these supers real quick. We've been through some shit. We've been through a lot as a fan base. Pete, we've had to watch our team relocate more than any other football team ever. Oakland to LA, LA back to Oakland, then Oakland to Vegas. We've been through some shit. This fan base is beaten and battered. Beaten and battered. As a grown man, I can be honest and say I shed tears when the Raiders left Oakland and went to Las Vegas. I'm still here, but I was beaten and battered over that decision. Did the same thing when my Kings were almost gone. Moved to Seattle, moved to Anaheim. Same thing with my A's. This fan base is beaten and battered. We need something to be happy about. And right now, our happiness, a lot of us, we go to football. We wait year in and year out for football to come back, and we're here. And we were on high hopium going into week 1. Was it the greatest football ever displayed week 1? No, it was not, but we escaped with a victory. So we're like, okay. We went and won in a tough place. We're coming back home Monday night, got an extra day off against a divisional rival. Pete knows Jim Harbaugh very well. That looked like a nasty. I've never seen Geno look terrible. 3 picks, throwing in a double, triple coverage. And then this last week, Geno goes out there and I got to give Geno some credit. Most quarterbacks would have just gave up. Like they probably would have turned to the backup. Kenny Pickett probably would have been the guy against the Commanders with how much pressure Geno was under. He went down 5 times, you guys, and probably should have went down more than that. Still had almost 300 yards in the year. He had like 289. He was very, very efficient, 19 for 29. He only missed on 10 passes in a terrible effort from everybody else outside of a few guys. Got to give Geno some credit. I do have to give, Pete a little bit more credit, though. They are starting to go to Genty a little bit more. He had 17 carries. He averaged 3.7 a clip at 63 yards. That's the most he's had up to this point, going into week 4 with the long of 18 yards. You can see the home run ability there, you guys. We're getting closer and closer to Genty being very, very effective. But you have to shuffle that O-line around or it's not going to happen. And Pete, you need to fix this before Sunday. This is not going to get better. This is not a good group of guys. This is not a cohesive unit on that O-line. It all starts there. That defense, we'll get there in a second because they completely shit the bed. Completely shit. When they had a phenomenal opportunity to go out there and really put the NFL on notice about this defense. Because week 1 and week 2, they looked really good. And then week 3, they just completely shit the bed and gave the Commanders a 41 piece. Now, some of that goes to special teams. I told people, man, Tom McMahon was one of the worst special teams coaches in football. Me and Marquette King, salute to my brother Marquette. We've had conversations about this. Marquette was coached up by him in Denver for a year. He knows him very well. I said this. Tom is one of the worst special teams coaches in football. You got Zeus out there constantly returning kicks. Special teams unit just giving up, just getting gashed, giving opposing teams great opportunities to score because they're already at midfield. First play of the game. You gave up a 68, 69 yarder to Debo. Mind you, Debo is one of the better, most dynamic football players in the league. I'm not taking away from Debo, but you got to be better than that. There's so many question marks surrounding this football team right now. The O-line is definitely one. Special teams has been miserable. And then, the defense just had a major collapse against the Commanders. And I'm hoping that they can bounce back against the Bears team that looks like, you guys, they're finally figuring it out. I know they played against a beaten and battered Dallas team when, CeeDee Lamb went down. I think that Tyler Booker's gone now. I think he's going to be out for a little while. I think a high ankle sprain or something like that. That defense, Dallas has one of the worst defenses in football, you guys. So I expected Caleb Williams to go out there and showcase his talents against one of the worst defenses in football. We'll get there. We'll get there in a second. Salute to the 1,000 people here in the building. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Also, I'm going to be changing some things here soon on the channel. We'll get to the supers here in a second. Said this before, and I'm honestly really, really being serious this time. I'm going to start putting a schedule together. I'm going to start doing way more coffee and convos. This is going to be just the majority of my shows moving forward. We'll still be calling games Sunday. Me and Hammer will definitely do the play-by-play, but I'm going to move more towards a scheduled regimen over here. I got a lot of stuff that I need to work on with my sons in terms of sports and academics and other things outside of this. So I'm going to stop being all over the place. We're going to come up with a schedule, take a few days off during the week. And then I got some other opportunities that I want to take advantage of outside of this also. So we're working on a schedule. I should have it maybe the next few weeks, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to be doing mostly coffee and convos moving forward. So Alex says it's absolutely nasty work that people are calling Genty a bust. Yeah, Alex. Yeah. They think that because of the career that he had at Boise State, that he's just going to come in and be able to run behind one of the worst O-lines in football and just go out there and do the same exact thing, that he did at Boise State. It takes time. This O-line is not blocking for anybody. I mean, look what Zeus has been able to do. Look what Dylan has been able to do. We have not been able to run the football with anybody. You know what I mean? So they got to give Genty some more time, but they got to fix that O-line. Mando, I miss Andre James. Team look like they never got off the plane. I feel like this coaching staff is too stubborn to make changes. Low-key lost hype. Not low-key. The hype is gone, Mando, but I have to disagree with you. I don't miss anything about Andre James. Nothing. Appreciate you on the $5 special, brother, but I don't miss anything about him. He's a backup with the Chargers right now. I don't miss shit about Andre James. I think that was the right move, the correct move to let him leave. And what has he done up to this point with the Chargers? Salute to J-Row, my guy. If Pete is all about competition, why would every position on this O-line not be up for grabs with the way they've been playing? Now, I agree with you, Ro, but also they did, right? I mean, Jordan Meredith won the starting center position. JPJ won the starting right guard position. Alex Kappa dealing with the rib injury a ton in the offseason. I didn't really see, we knew Colton Miller was going to be the left tackle. There wasn't a ton of competition at left guard, bro, which is crazy because Parham is one of the worst players that we have on this roster, which is kind of insanity at this point that we didn't hear anything. The only thing I heard about the left guard position, you guys, during the offseason was Parham dealing with an injury at training camp and Mumford coming in and getting some reps as the starting left guard. And now Mumford's nowhere to be found. You know what, bro? You know what's so crazy? I don't care what anybody says. This offensive line would be better with Mumford on the roster. That says a lot about how bad this offensive line is. This O-line would be better if it had Mumford on the roster. And then what are we doing with Raheem Mostert? You're not running the football effectively. Zeus is non-existent. Dylan has been pretty much relegated to special teams or catching the football out of the backfield. He's gotten a few reps, right? Where's Raheem Mostert? Is he a running backs coach right now? Is he just because he's Chip Kelly's guy getting just a free check? What's going on with the 33-year-old Raheem Mostert? I know he was dealing with a nasty injury last year. In Miami. I know he had a child this offseason and missed a ton of training camp. Have we gotten any answers or anything? What's going on with Raheem Mostert? He's been inactive the first 3 weeks. He's clearly your second best running back on this roster. He's been inactive for the first 3 weeks. That's very telling. Like, what's going on? Flores says only Barry Sanders can run the ball with this shit O-line. And even Barry would have problems. And Barry's my favorite running back of all time. The greatest running back to ever play the game to me, in my eyes. He'd have an issue running behind this O-line. Salute to my guy Flores, man. Salute to everybody here in the building. I will get to you guys' questions as well. I definitely want you guys know Coffee and Convo. This is y'all's show. I definitely want to get you guys all involved with this, and I will get to the comment section as much as possible. So stay tuned. CJ Gardner released. Okay. He'd be the best safety that we had on this roster right now. Polamalu has sucked. People get lost in the sauce of a few picks here and there, and blown up in the backfield, a couple tackles. I think he blew up Trayvon Henderson, or was it Ramondre Stevenson? I think it was Trayvon Henderson week 1. People get lost by splash plays. You look at the film, Polamalu has not been a good football player, you guys. He hasn't been. But I have to say this. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's a head case. There's a reason why he's bounced around the league a ton. There's a reason why Philly got rid of him after a Super Bowl win. Something ain't right up here with him. It's not. Would I be against going to get him? Definitely not. But I don't know if he's the kind of locker room guy you need for all the youngsters like Genty and Besh and Thornton, and all these other young guys that you have on that D-line and O-line. I don't know that would be the right move. This dude just clearly doesn't have it all up here. I'm telling y'all now, just watch what he says on Instagram and a bunch of YouTube videos. I don't know if he has if he's with Bleacher Reporter. I don't know what it is, but I've seen him say some wild outland. I see a lot of AB in CJ Gardner-Johnson. If they go get him, hey, you're a Raider, I'm rooting for you. But something ain't right up here. Something ain't clicking up there with CJ Gardner-Johnson. And safety's a tough position to play, right? Hard-hitting position. He could be affected by, all the hits that he sustained since playing as a kid. I don't know. Verbal Jiu-Jitsu said this last year with the Raiders O-line. They're undersized and more finesse guys. They aren't people movers. Multiple 6'3", 300-pound. Eagles O-line average 6'5", 330. Teams who can run O-line are bigger and stronger. This is facts. And the thing is this. If you're going to go smaller and finesse, have some finesse players. Verbal Jiu-Jitsu, we don't have them. Jordan Meredith is not a finesse player. Dylan Parham is not a finesse player. Alex Kappa for sure is not a finesse player. If you're going to go in that direction of undersized and more, athletic, go get some athletes. These guys don't fit the description of any of that shit. Salute to my guy, Verbal, man. Salute to AJ, my dog. Just wanted to say thank you for the Raider therapy, Graphk. Laugh out loud, shaking my head. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here and listening, allowing me to rant a little bit. Get some questions in, you guys. Wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But also, man, you know, the defense. What happened? Where's Malcolm Koonce? Where's Malcolm Koonce? I mean, you know, I told you I wasn't going to do the advanced metrics, which I don't need to, but I mean, where's he been? Where's he been? Where's he been? Has not been able. Look, if you can't get to the quarterback, Koonce, if you can't get to the quarterback, that's fine by me. Can you set the edge? Can you do anything in the ground game, in the run game? That was my one knock on you coming out of Buffalo. And your brother definitely let me hear it in my DM on Twitter about he's great against the run. He's great against the run, former rugby guy and blah, blah, blah. And we had a conversation. And I said, I don't see what you see. But before the injury, started to get better, started to set the edge better, started getting better in the run game. Where's Malcolm Koonce? Where's Malcolm Koonce? This past week, where was Devin White and Jermaine Pratt? Where were these guys? Whitey's been phenomenal. Week 1, week 2 looked really good. Really good. Where was he against the Commanders when we needed you the most? Where were you? Where was Jermaine Pratt? Once again, I don't do the advanced metric stuff, you know, but PFF did put a few numbers out there, and I'll read them just for shits and giggles. Malcolm Koonce, PFF grade of 29.0. 29.0. Jermaine Pratt, 33.2. These numbers are coming from RaidersWire.USA today. Salute to them. Devin White, 35.7 after having a great week 1, you know, a really good week 2. I ain't going to say really good week 2. He came back down to earth in week 2. Let me say that. But he did lead, I believe, the team in tackles back-to-back weeks, week 1 and week 2. I think Max led us this week against the Commanders in tackles. And we'll get to Max here in a second as well. Yeah, Max had, I think, 7 tackles, like 4 solo, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 QB hits, 1 sack. Max was definitely all over the place, but we'll get there in a second as well. But what's up with this defense? You're facing a backup quarterback. You're facing a bunch of backup running backs. You're facing a team that was waiting for Scary Terry to get his shit together and get rolling. What happened? What happened? I can't even beat up on our corners because, once again, I mean, Mariota wasn't crazy in the passing game. He threw for 200 yards, 207, which is, you know, but most of that went to McLaurin. And honestly, you guys, I think these corners have been really good, but the problem is they're giving up the big play. That's been the issue all season long up to this point, right? I mean, they've been pretty solid, and then boom, a 56-yarder to Terry McLaurin. Boom, a 60-yarder to Quentin Johnston in week 2, right? Boom, a 43-yarder to Luke McCaffrey. They've been solid, but the DBs have just been giving up these massive splash plays that just instantly take us out of games. What's going on? Problem with our defense, salute the coach on the $5 special, is that they're dominating in practice against our bum offense. When they play against other teams, they get outclassed. Well, I mean, look, what did we give up last week, Coach? What did we give up? 20, a little over 20 against the Chargers? I don't even remember. It was like 20-9 or something like that. I think it was 20-9. The offense shit the bed last week. Outside of those splash plays, the Quentin Johnston big touchdown and a few other plays like that, dropping Max in the coverage when that happened. I don't think they've been outclassed up to this point. They were definitely outclassed against Mariota and company, for sure. Top to bottom, each level of the defense looked like dog shit. Defensive line, dog shit. Second level of defense, the linebackers, dog shit. Secondary, but guess what? Few big plays, dog shit. Jeremy Chin, wrap up. You gave up a 60-yard cribbo to a career backup running back. Palomar still not being able to wrap up and finish his tackles, taking bad angles out there at the safety position. I don't get it, coach. Salute to my guy, man, on the 5-hour special, man. Salute to Verum. The D is depleted. They have to be on the field every 5 minutes. Pause. This O can't stay on the field. Well, I mean, look. Even when they have time, Verum, even when they have time, even when we go out there and have a long drive or two here and there, or we go out there and put up 7, they're still getting up these big splash plays. Where the defensive line is still not getting to the quarterback. They sacked Marcus Mariota one time, you guys. One time. I thought that this was going to be a coming out party for the defensive line. You're facing a backup that likes to use his legs. I thought that they were going to live in the backfield and get to Mariota at least 4 or 5 times this week. I thought they were going to do what the Commanders did to Geno. Get him on the ground 5 times. That's what I thought. You have a backup quarterback, a career backup quarterback now. Honestly, outside of those few seasons with the Titans, Mariota's been a career backup that loves to use his legs. I'm assuming we're going to get in the backfield a ton. He's going to try and make some plays with his legs. We're going to get him down behind the line of scrimmage, and we're going to get 4 or 5 sacks. And get him down the backfield at least 4 or 5. Got him once. And honestly, the one sack that we had, Max had to do everything in his power to make happen. I mean, that dude literally just ran through the running back. I know you guys remember that play. Max just literally just ran right through him. The game was already over. I believe it was like 34-16 or some wild shit like that at that point. But Max went out there, relentless motor was still going, wasn't letting up. Wasn't letting up. But yeah, man. Where was the pressure from the DTs? You know, where was Adam Butler? Where was Jonah Lalu? Booker had a great, forced turnover, made Marcus Mariota fumble in a bad situation that put us back in play to potentially stay in that game, right? I mean, Booker made a big play. I can't even beat up on Booker, man. Booker's been a blessing in disguise since coming over to Philly. But the D-line shit the bed. Where was Tyree Wilson? Where was Tyree Wilson, you guys? Where was he? A former top 10 pick that a lot of us were like, you know what? Year 3, this the year. Where was he at? He had 2 tackles, 2 solo. Where's he? You took him at a top 10 pick. I don't even think Malcolm Kuntz was even on the stat sheet. Honestly, I don't. We got Brennan Jackson out there a little bit. He got 2 tackles. Finally got a chance to see, the young pup go out there, and the kid that we picked up off the waiver wire from Philly, or from the Rams. My apologies. A few reps out there. But Lalu, 2 tackles. He had a tackle for a loss. We need more from this defensive line. This is the bread and butter of the defense up front. When you got Max Crosby, when you invest that kind of money into Max, and then you bring back Malcolm Kuntz on a 1-year deal, you're hyping up Tyree in your training camp. You got him playing in the interior. You got him playing on the boundary, on the outside as an edge rusher. We're thinking, okay, now, to be honest, you guys, do you guys remember hearing about the defensive line owning the offensive line in training camp? Do you? Because now I think it's all starting to kind of make sense here. I kept hearing the O-line won the day, the D-line won this day, and then today they both look good, and so on and so forth. This is very telling. This is very telling. Maybe we were just like not reading the room correctly as a fan base. Maybe we weren't, with all the tweets and all the articles from Vinny B and all these guys that were out there watching every snap at training camp. I didn't hear a ton of the defensive line owning the offensive line. It sounded like they were both kind of neck and neck this offseason. Maybe that's why they went and got Brennan Jackson off the waiver wire. Maybe that's why they made a trade for Booker, But then, on the other hand, you have Tonka Hemingway, inactive. You have J.J. Pegues, inactive, which I would love to see JJ Pegues. That'd be great to line him up at fullback, maybe give your running back a little bit more breathing room, put a big body in front of him. I think that'd be smart. Hey, Pete. I think that'd be smart. Maybe put JJ Pegues out there. If you're not going to play him at defensive tackle, maybe put him out there and line him up in the backfield instead of Michael Mayer, and maybe a little something different. Bro, I saw no linebackers the whole game. Yeah, because they were non-existent, bro. They were non-existent. Terrible display of football from our second level of our defense. Nasty. Perk Angle. I've been enlightened. I care more about O-line than skill positions. Bad O-line equals hard to watch. This is facts, man. Facts. Facts plus tax, man. And yes, you guys, we need more out of Max. And Max will tell you that. He is the best player on this roster. He's the best player on this roster. Brock Bowers gets a little wiggle room here with us because of the knee injury, still wearing, the brace on his knee. That play where Geno tried to find him in the end zone, usually Brock would have went up and got over all those defenders and came down with that touchdown. He's clearly not ready to go right now. They're putting him out there and he's fighting through that injury, which I love. I'm going to give Brock his credit that he's out there trying to play through this knee injury. That's a tough assignment to do when you're dealing with a knee injury and being the kind of player that Brock Bowers is, fighting through traffic and double and triple coverage. It's very difficult to play Brock's game with a knee injury. Got to give him a little wiggle room. We need more out of Max. But once again, Max will tell you that. Max will tell you that. We need more than just a sack or two here and there in garbage time. Definitely. He's been playing the run effectively. Great. But also, man, we need more out of these other guys on that D-line. We need way more. We need more pressure from the interior. We need Malcolm or Tyree or Brennan Jack, one of those guys to step up on the opposite side of Max. We got to get some pressure from both sides. We can't expect to just put it all on Max because he's our superstar pass rusher. I understand nobody's above criticism, you guys. Nobody. So I'm not here to try and save Max or none of that. And I know firsthand that Max has seen everything and heard everything online, and he's going to get better. But once again, the guys around him need to, play their roles as well. Honestly. Graphk, those big plays, is that a communication issue between a DB handing off to a receiver, to a safety, because those receivers look wide open? You know what, Chris? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It could be a mix of just not so good players, communication issues. I mean, most of the time when you give up a major play, Chris, it is because of communication. It is. Unless you just got absolutely toasted. And some of those big splash plays, it didn't look like these guys were just getting absolutely obliterated. It just looked like a blown assignment. So I'll go with communication issue, but I think it's a mix. It's a blend of these guys just not doing their fucking jobs. Chris, to be honest. Salute to Dub, my guy, man. Appreciate you, brother. And salute to everybody here in the building. As always, you guys, wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting on, man? I'm concerned this week's going to be a Bears home game. Oh, this is facts. I went to the one, Gruden's last game in 2021 when we lost 14-9. That was a Bears home game for sure. Nothing will change on that front. I know improving the team is the ultimate fix, but in the meantime, losing home field advantage sucks, bro. Yeah, and we all knew this was going to happen, Dub, when we went to Vegas. The writing was on the wall. We knew. It's a transient state. People love to go to Vegas. Like other fan bases, and I've talked to them at the cigar lounges and at the gym and all this stuff. They are looking to circle. They're hoping that they play the Raiders during this season so they can have an excuse to go out to Vegas and party it up and see their favorite football team. That's never going to change, Dub. Even when we get, hopefully, please, God, even if we get good or great, nothing's going to change on that front, Dub. And also the tickets are just over the top in terms of price. It's absolutely insane. I don't even remember the last time I went to a game in Vegas where I paid for a ticket, honestly. And that's no flex for me. I just refuse to go unless one of my people hit me up. Yo, I got a ticket. Or we're doing our blackout parties back in the day. Salute to my guy Cody and the team, or we're doing the alumni parties and stuff like that. You know, look, I'm for the free ski, bro. I'm not paying that kind of price, especially to watch this shit show product. There's no way. But I hear you, bro. My brother Hug is in the building. Appreciate you, bro. And I'm still going out to Indianapolis, you guys, 2 weeks. And me and Stu will be doing a show tomorrow. Stu has a lot on his mind he wants to talk about tomorrow. We'll be doing the Graphk and Stu show, breaking down some of Stu's thoughts on the game and then moving on to Chicago. So stay tuned for that. Mark, sell the team. Genty sucks. Gino ain't it. Max is overrated. Pete is too old. Chip Kelly got a Crayola playbook. My man Giant. Whoa. You gotta relax, Hug. Y'all need some professional help. F out of here. Yeah. I knew where you were going this entire time I was reading this. And yes, people are freaking out right now. You know, I'm more freaking out about the way this team looks as a team. I'm not freaking out about how Ashton Genty looks single-handedly, or Max looks single-handedly, you know, or Gino being so up and down. I'm looking at the offensive line as a whole. I'm looking at the duo at the safety position, how they're struggling. I'm looking at how these linebackers just didn't show up against the Commanders in week 3. You know, I'm looking at the team all around, you know, Pete Carroll and some of these decisions that they've made running Dylan Laube in short yard situations and shotgun formation. You know, some of Chip Kelly's play calling has also been very, very questionable. But once again, when you have such a bad O-line, I mean, honestly, it's like I bet you Chip is out there like, what can I do? What can I do? Like, Philbin, can you help me? Brennan Carroll, can you help me? Pete, can you guys hear me? I'm still waiting, Hug, to see Chip Kelly's playbook. Once again, I don't think I've seen it. Outside of that first play or that first drive against New England, I don't think I've actually really get an opportunity to see what this offense can look like and what it can be, because once we're snapping the football, the opposing defensive line is already in the backfield. Gino's running for his life, or he's already on the ground, or Genty is trying to hop through fire and loops and bounds just to get back to the line of scrimmage. I don't know what Chip's offense looks like. I don't know what Genty's game looks like at the next level. I damn near don't even, you know, what does Gino look like protected? Nose ring, nobody. Raiders can't protect the top 5 running back prospect. Sweeney, facts, bro. Facts. Salute to my guy Pace, man. Sup, Graphk? What would you do if one of your boys was your O-line coach and the line was playing like this? Oh, if one of my boys was coaching the O-line, I'd blame myself, Pace. I'd pull the plug and I would own all the blame, because I am the decision maker. I am the one that's bringing him in here and hoping that he can lead that unit all season long. I'm taking the blame, full blame. But at some point, you have to pull the plug, son or not. But also, Pace, you have to look at Spytech and you have to look at Carroll and say, these are the players that you gave Brennan Carroll in year 1 on the offensive line to protect Geno Smith and to lead the way for Ashton Genty. It goes both ways. Pete Carroll has failed his son. Pete Carroll has failed Geno Smith. Pete Carroll has failed Ashton Genty. Simple and plain. It is what it is. Your O-line looks lost. They look overpowered. They look like, as a unit, they don't even belong at this level of football. You know, Colton looks phenomenal in pass pro. Then he does it in the ground game. So we can't. I was even saying run the football to the left side. You got Parham over there. Maybe you swap, put JPJ back at left guard if you're not going to put him at center. Maybe you can make that your strong suit on that O-line. Put JPJ next to Colton Miller. Maybe have that be the strong side for Genty. a few changes here may make this thing look a little different. Joe, Spytech didn't build this O-line. This O-line was built last year. This O-line, Dylan Parham is on year, what, 4? Colton has been a Raider his entire career. Jordan Meredith has been here, he's a few years as well. DJ Glaze is in year 2. Tom Telesco guy. Free agency was nasty, you guys. The one thing I have to give credit for Spytech is this. He didn't go out there and overpay for some mid-ass players on the offensive line. But I do wish that he would have went out and did the Chicago Bears thing and, made a few moves. Go get Jonah Jackson. They went and got Thuney, right? They went and got one of the better centers in football from the Falcons. They said, we're going to protect our young guy, Caleb Williams, in year 2, and they're going to go through their bumps and bruises in year 1 as a unit collectively. But he drafted a guard. He drafted a tackle. Apparently, they're not ready to go yet. Not going to beat him up on it. You had 2 options, Mekhi Becton or Trey Smith. And you couldn't get Trey Smith. He was franchise tag from Kansas City. Made him the highest paid guard in football eventually. There wasn't a ton of options out there, you guys. It really wasn't. Now, if you guys want to play the whole go get Mimbu, you should have drafted Mimbu over Genty. If you want to play that card, I'm here for it. I'm not mad. I still prefer Ashton Genty, but Mimbu looks great. He looks great. He looks like he's going to be one of the better tackles in football, at least up to this point. It's only up to week 3, and, and his team is 0-3, but he's looked good. He's looked great. Isn't it sad that now both those Oakland stadiums are vacant? Prime real estate now. Facts, bro. Facts. 2 stock. Every time I go home, man, I see it, and it's just so depressing, bro. So depressing, man. I'll admit, been depressed for the last 2 weeks. Spivey, me too, man. With all the family shit, going on, off screen, and then the Raiders just looking the way they look. Yeah, man, it's been pretty nasty, bro. Did I miss a super sky high? My apologies. Hey, and 2-4. Hey, bro, I gotta address this as well. Let me look for Sky High's stuff, because 2-4 said that he sent a few supers Sunday, and you put in the comments section, bro, like basically, I don't know if it was a deliberate thing or or you skipped them off. Like, bro, I try to get to everything, bro. For you to say whatever you said in that comment was nasty work to me, bro. Damn near want to strip your wrench, bro. Like that's terrible. Like, come on, man. You think I'm blatantly just skipping your supers? Bro, when we got 5,000 people in the comment section, you think it's easy to get to everything? Listen, you guys, if you want to send a super to support the channel and because of what we do and how active we are and the players we bring on and how connected we are to the organization, thank you. But understand this. I'm not going to be able to get to everything, bro. I'm not. So 2-4, if you feel some type of way, brother, just don't send any more supers. I'm cool with that. I'm cool. If anybody else feels the same way, do the same shit. Don't send anything. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I appreciate them. But if you feel some type of way because I didn't get a chance to read everything, keep your money, man. Jack Bech is a great run blocker. He needs more. This is facts, Mark. And he'll get there. Year 2, year 3, you're going to see Jack Bech unlocked. I'm telling you now, he is a phenomenal talent. They got to give him some more looks, Mark. This is facts. But definitely a great run blocker. Also, sure hands, great route runner. I'm very excited about Jack Bech. But once again, you got to get that O-line in check for you to even get an opportunity to see any of these guys fully unlocked, not named Trey Tucker at this point, right? So salute to my guy Hug on a $50 smackaroonie. I appreciate you, my brother. I'll follow that up with facts. Brennan, find the dogs in the O-line. Chip, whatever calls you have for Zamir, scrap them. I agree. Get more short to intermediate if Geno is under duress. Agreed. Graham, fix your middle coverage. Oh, my God, bro. Dog, we've been talking about this for years. And find a safety that don't get burnt. Fix it. Hug with a bomb. Salute to my brother, man. Love you, bro. Appreciate you on the $50 smackaroonie and nothing but facts from the my father himself. Hug these, man. My dog. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Haymaker. We could bounce back 2-2. It would be heaven sent. Facts, bro. Facts. And it's definitely a winnable game. Chicago's still 1-2, just like we are. But it looked like they're starting to figure it out a little bit against Dallas. So we'll see what Chicago team shows up. And I'll tell you right now, Ben Johnson is going to want to win this football game with all the smoke and talk about him being, Tom Brady's guy in Vegas. And then, Pete Carroll should want this win as well, right? More than anybody, because he was the second guy. Ben Johnson was 1A and he was 1B. Pete better have his guys ready to go because this is the guy that the Raiders actually wanted, Pete. How about you get your guys motivated by using that? Hey, they wanted Ben Johnson. I wanted to be here. Ben didn't. You guys gonna show it for me? Use that as a motivation tactic. Try it out. Salute the Mando. Rube, 2 years ago, everyone thought the Rams were done. They drafted Puka, Kobe Turner, who was a phenomenal player. Byron Young, the next year, Fisk and Verse. Man, 2 Florida State studs. Great teams let rookies explode onto the scene and make an impact in year 1. Talk, Rube. Talk, my brother. Salute to Rube. Always coming through and blessing the channel with a bomb. Let me see. And this is, hey, once again, it's no knock to 2-4. I like 2-4. You cool people, bro. But for you to say that, it's like, bro, like you think I deliberately just like stole your money? Like I assume, bro, that most people donate so I can continue to do this for a living and continue to do it at a high clip like I do. Like I'm not gonna be able to read everything, bro. These are the shows where I try to get to every single thing. And Sky High, I couldn't find your super brother. If you're still in the chat, put the comment down and I'll definitely find it for you, bro. Graphk, I heard Q say something earlier today. Why not let the O-line run it back in the same positions they were in last year? We at least had a decent O-line after JPJ was moved to center. I mean, did we have a decent O-line? Was it decent? We're the worst rushing attack in football, and I understand we had Zamir White out there. I get that was the only running back that we had. Sincere showed up late in the season and was a blessing in disguise for us. Look, y'all, I'm getting so sick, and this is not you, bro. Much love to you, brother. I get so sick of us comparing everything to mid. I see so many fucking people on Twitter saying, take us back to 2021 to be a 10-7 wild card team. Like even Q, like go back to what happened. That was a terrible line last year. The fuck are we talking about here? Let's just go back to what worked. The fuck are we talking about? Take me back to 2021. The year where Gruden got caught with emails and shit. Yeah, we started the season off 3-0. Great. And then what? It wasn't a great football team. These guys just showed up, rallied around, interim head coach and Richie B, and we found a way to get into the playoffs. Yes. And lost in the wild card round. The fuck are we doing here? How about take me back to 83, 84? Take me back to the Tuck Rule year. Take me back to that AFC Championship team when we beat the Titans to face the Buccaneers. Not that team that faced the Buccaneers, but the team that beat the shit out of the Titans in the AFC Championship. Are we so fucking desperate that it's like we would just rather we're 1-2? Take me back to Derek Carr. Take me back to Darren Waller. Take me back to Zay Jones. The fuck are we talking about? I knew I shouldn't have went live today, bro. I know I shouldn't have did this shit. Bro, appreciate you on a $10 smackaroonie. I mean, is this how down bad we are, you guys, as a fan base? The fuck are we doing here? Take me back to a interim head coach that's now a special teams guy in Green Bay. Shit is wild. That O-line was ass last year, bro. It was not good. And when they found a way to get better, they were facing the Atlanta Falcons in a low-scoring affair at Allegiant Stadium where we ended up losing, and Kirk Cousins gets benched. Got better against a Jacksonville team that didn't want to win ball games. They got better against the New Orleans Saints, who just didn't give a fuck at all. If that's the standard, then we all ain't shit. We ain't shit. That is not what I meant. I knew you were mad as well. Yeah, man, but unable to read them because of that chat flying and misunderstood. Nah, bro, it's much love, 2-4. You know I rock with you, bro. I don't give wrenches to just anybody. I trust you with my chat. I trust you to not, get rid of people for no reason. Bro, you are definitely appreciated over here, brother. But when I read that, I'm like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? But 2-4, I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for continuing to be a mod and understanding my frustrations by that comment. It's all love, bro. It's all love, 2-4. So, salute to you, bro. Yeah, like Primo, like that. Like, take me back to Kalichi Assembly. Take me back to Donald Penn. Take me back to Huddy. Take me back to Gabe Jackson. Nah, take me back to fucking 10-17 that had to sneak into the playoffs by playing a bunch of backup fucking quarterbacks. Cleveland, Indianapolis. Take me back to that. Take me back to that. Take me back to a team where Josh Jacobs had to absolutely run like a madman in the last 4 or 5 weeks or whatever the hell it was for us to sneak in and shit is wild, bro. Shit's nasty. Nasty, nasty work. Pete set us up and said, win now. No, man, but this is the thing. It's on us to buy that shit, right? It's on us to buy. I take everything that Pete says with a grain of salt when it comes to winning now, because what did he say himself, Nomad? Like 10 wins, like I've done that constantly. I've done that constantly. Well, most of the time, Nomad, 10 wins is not going to get you there. You may sneak into the playoffs, may get a wild card spot. More than likely, you're not winning your division, especially in the AFC West. If you're like somewhere in the NFC South, there's some weird shit. You might be able to win your division with 10 wins. But you have to take some of that with a grain of salt, Nomad. Because once again, all I do is win. That's not been his track record in recent memory. And when you're bragging about that's what we do, and people say that's what he does, he'll win you 10 games. I wasn't expecting to win a bunch of shit anyway. I think we all, are going off of Pete's past, USC and the Legion of Boom and that team that they assembled. People tend to forget. We always give Pete the credit, and he definitely deserves it. But Dan Quinn was over there. There was a great coaching staff over there in Seattle. Like, they had a phenomenal coaching, staff completely. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. But I'm expecting Pete Carroll to just get us back to a middle of the pack football team before he leaves, and whoever takes over, this thing is stabilized. That's all I want. And if Pete can live up to that 10 wins that he brags about, I'm here for it. Get me back to that 10 win range. And on the way out, we're stabilized. I'm cool. Whoever comes in, this thing is built to take it to the next level. That's all I want. Give me that 9 or 10 wins that Pete is preaching about, and I'm cool. But that win now shit, that's just for the birds. I knew immediately when you really didn't do anything to that O-line, okay? When the free agency class was really, really bad in Pete's in Spy Tech's year one. It really was bad. There wasn't a ton of talent out there, you guys. Next year, we're set up for the future. This is why I don't buy all the Spy Tech bashing, because he set this team up for the next 2 seasons to be able to go into free agency and do whatever we want. We're gonna have a ton of money. We're gonna have 2 complete draft class, I believe. I think we only have 6 picks next year for right now, I believe. But we are moving and shaking here. Spy Tech is building this thing for the future. Pete is going to try and sell the fan base. That's why they go get free training camp tickets to get the fan base out there. That's why he keeps stating, we need you guys here. We need you guys here. Pete is a rah-rah guy. Not only, you guys, to his to his guys, not only to his coaching staff, not only to his players. Pete is selling us just like he's selling them. He's doing the exact same thing. He's a motivator. Motivators are going to motivate. Salute to my big bro Thor in the building, man. He said, Graphk, you need a hug, brother. Two stock. Besh has only made clutch plays for Geno. I'd have to see the tape, but I feel like he needs to be out there over Thornton. And yes, we're down that bad. Salute to my guy, Two stock. And I love Dante. You guys know that. Personal friend of the show. Got love for Dante. And I think that, here very soon, he could be a superstar type talent. But honestly, when you got speedsters and you got guys like, that's why I'm so shocked that we're even able to find Trey Tucker as much as we are. You know what I mean? Because when Geno's snapping the football, you guys, he's pretty much already, you got defenders in his lap. Besh has been a blessing in disguise in certain situations, right? Big play. I think he had week one, like one catch for it was like a catch for like 23, 24 yards. And then that catch on the boundary, Two stock against the Commanders that got us that first down was beautiful. But yeah, man, I mean, small sample size, but you see what's there. Besh can be special, and he's going to be special. But once again, Geno needs time to throw the fucking football. You need time to be able to survey the football field. You have to have time to go through your progressions as a quarterback. But also, Geno, when you are being protected, you have to get rid of the football. Two stock. Appreciate you, brother. Salute to my guy. Thunder. No going back, man. We're going forward. One Sunday at a time. Let's go. Yeah. And once again, you guys, the season isn't over. We're 1-2, just like damn near every team in our division right now. I mean, think about it. Baltimore's 1-2. The Chiefs are 1-2. There's a ton that can happen here. But the thing is, this O-line makes me believe that we're going to see a lot more games like we've seen against the Commanders. Simple and plain. Unless there's some moves to be made. I don't know. I don't even care if it's Dalton Wagner. I don't care if it's, putting Will Putnam at center. Whatever you need to do to put the most nastiest big dogs out there in O-line, they need to do it. But if this is the same guys that we're going to see out there on Sunday at the same exact positions, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. They need to make some moves. Look, the Giants, 0-3. They went to Jackson Dart. The difference here is that head coach and GM are on notice. This may be the last ride for them, which I definitely believe it is, unless Jackson Dart can save that thing, be the savior for the Giants. Pete Carroll doesn't have that kind of pressure on him. He doesn't. This could be the last year he coaches ever, and he'll be fine. He'll end up leaving. He's 74 years old. So there's no real pressure on Pete. Do I think that he wants to lose? No. Do I think that he's okay with, mediocrity? No, I don't. But once again, he doesn't have the kind of pressure on him that the Brian DeBalls and these other guys of the world do. Salute the Thunder. Salute the Row. I'm saying if we have the same 5 O-linemen, put them where they played. Oh, no, I agree with you. At least do that. At least do that, right, Ro? I agree with you. At least do that. At least put JPJ at center. If you got to put Meredith at guard, put him at left guard. Put Parham on the right side. If that's what you see, keep Glaze at right tackle and Colton at left. Okay. At least if you're going to try and make this thing better with what you have, you got to make shift it. You got to move it around. You got to move things around. Even if it's JPJ at left guard and maybe Parham at center. I don't know. Meredith at right guard. If you're going to switch these things around, maybe at some point you see Wagner at right tackle and Glaze at right guard. I don't know. Rube says, we have a lot of cap space. Drafted best to save money with Jacoby. Was told it was for extensions, but we were a 4-win team. Who were we planning on extending? Scared money don't make no money. We have a lot of cap space. Drafted best to save money with Jacoby. This is facts. Was told it was for extensions, but we were a 4-win team. Yeah, facts, bro. Facts. But once again, better free agency class next year in terms, especially on the O-line. And we're going to go over those names later on down the line. It's still very young in the season, but there are some interesting names out there, Rube, on that O-line that are going to be free agents. And we're going to have a ton of cap space to be able to bring 1 or 2 in. And then I like this class as well, Ruben. I know you do your homework at the collegiate level. There's some interesting names out there that you could take a look at early on. Salute to Rube. Salute to my guy Viram. Man, I miss those years. Even though we got screwed by the tuck rule, at least we had something to be proud of. Those were the years I was getting into football and watching with my pops. I miss those moments. Salute to my guy Viram, man. Appreciate you, brother, on a $20 special, and I agree with you. Salute to my guy, man. Definitely miss those days. Harold says, Graphk, do coaches have to throw chalkboards and chairs to get attention? No. I mean, honestly, though, different players take being coached different ways, right? But I don't think you have to do the whole Indiana Bobby thing, right? Bobby Knight. Like, I don't think you have to do that. And that's not who Pete Carroll is. When he kicked through that whiteboard, it was on some like happy shit. Like it was on some like, yeah, we go, rah shit. It wasn't a Bobby Knight like throwing a chair onto the court because your team's fucking sucking, right? But everybody coaches differently. So. Graphk, tell me you laughed at that Chip Kelly video I sent. Which one? Did I even read it? Oh, I haven't watched it yet. Hug. I'll definitely check it out. I don't have TikTok anymore. So I don't know. My son stole my account, went in there, changed everything, deleted all my shit. So yeah. But I'll definitely, when my son gets home, I'll get his phone. I'll use his TikTok to check it out. I mean, hey, at this point, right? Go bring in Laki Tassi. Hey, fuck it. Shake your Laki Tassi, man. Big body up front. If I'm Ashton Genty, I'm saying put that guy in front of me. Put him in front of me. I might be able to break off for a 75, 80-yarder with Laki Tassi in front of me. Maybe it's time to look at the international portal player. I know his footwork needs a ton of work. I know that his handwork needs, he needs to be developed. You don't want to throw him out there too early. But, I mean, at this point, shit, he might be the best offensive lineman we have. Loso, a people mover. If you put him next to JPJ, could you imagine Laki Tassi at right guard and JPJ at center? Good luck. Good luck. I'm running the football right there, every down. Simple and plain. Man, this is facts. AP still a hoe. Definitely facts. Definitely. Big hater. Big hater. Hey, Dan, Gray Zabel was one of my favorite guys in that draft. Dude's a stud, bro. Viram says, if we are picking top 10, do we trade up for a quarterback like a Lar, him or the next 2 years, and then also trade up for a top guard? This is the thing, you guys, and I put this on Twitter. I did a mock draft, and, I took the tackle out of Utah. I like that kid. This is the thing. If you're in a situation where you can get your quarterback in next year's draft class, you can't pass up on that. You have to take your quarterback. And honestly, Viram, the way we're playing football right now, I don't think we need to trade up for shit. I think we'll have our hand. I think we'll be able to pick Drew Allar. We'll be able to pick Sellers. I think at this point, if we continue to play the way we're playing now, we'll be in prime real estate to go get our quarterback. I think the only team that may be worse is New Orleans. Maybe Tennessee, but they already got Cam Ward. They're not going to take a quarterback back-to-back years. New Orleans did take, I've been said it was a terrible decision for them to take the kid in the second round. I'm over here having a brain fart right now. Tyler Shuck, right? But that's not going to stop them from taking a quarterback. So, yeah, maybe Miami. But could you imagine like going to get a quarterback and still paying that crazy contract to Tua? But maybe they hand the reins to the former Texas kid that they took in the 7th round. We'll see. But either way, if we're in a situation where we can take the best offensive lineman or the best quarterback in the draft, I'm sorry. I would take my chances on getting your quarterback of the future. Geno is not showing that up to this point that he could be your guy for the next 3 or 4 years at 34 years old. I'm getting my quarterback. Because once again, remember some of those teams, you guys. How do we get Rodney Hudson? Free agency. How do we get Donald Penn? How do we get Kalichi Assembly? How do we get those guys? Sometimes we get lucky. We draft Colton Miller. You draft Gabe Jackson in the 3rd round. Some of those guys you draft. But most of the time, you go get these guys in free agency, or you get some guys, I would get a guard or a tackle there in the 2nd round. Maybe you can move. If you don't think that Glaze can be your right tackle, you can push him into guard. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, appreciate you guys. Get a few more questions in before I get out of here. I definitely miss KO, Jay. Kalichi Assembly was my guy. That was my dog. I got a chance to kick it with him in Atlanta a few times too. Good dude, solid individual. Loved KO. I was actually pissed when we brought him in for a visit and didn't sign him a year or 2 ago. But yeah, things did change. Things did change. Pete, the one thing that I don't want to feel like we're getting ourselves into is you being the oldest coach in football and being stuck in your ways because you think that what you have out there can work. It's just not working now. You think give them 3 more, 4 more weeks and they're going to, Pete, this shit ain't going to work. With what you have right there, out there right now on that offensive line, we can just try to change one thing at a time. We'll get to the defense later. With what you have on that O-line, that shit is not going to work. What did Dave Chappelle? Shut the fuck up. Pete, it is not going to work. It's not. Don't be that older guy that's stuck in your ways, and because of all the success you had a long time ago, that you are right here. Because if that's the way you're thinking, you, sir, are wrong. A guy that has no coaching experience in my life outside of some youth shit is telling you, a guy that has won a national championship and a Super Bowl, you, sir, are fucking wrong. If you think that what we have out there can work, it's just going to take some time, you, sir, are fucking incorrect. If you care about Geno Smith, like you say you do, protect him. If you want to prove to everybody you were right by taking Ashton Jeanty at 6, don't be stubborn. Fix the fucking O-line. It's not that crazy of a concept, right? Parham has been terrible at left guard. Maybe you think he can be better on the right side. Put him over there. If you don't want to just completely bench Dylan Parham, put him on the right side. If, I don't know what the fuck's going on with JPJ at this point. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. I don't know why he's out of favor with these people. I don't get it. But, he's okay now. He's healthy. He's no longer affected by the concussion. Here's a good idea. Put him back at center, where he introduced himself to your number 1 draft pick, Ashton Jeanty, as, hello, I'm your center. Put him there. Jordan Meredith got a new contract with the Raiders, you guys. You know why? You know why? Because he played good at guard. I repeat, they brought Jordan Meredith back because he played good at guard for you last year. Want to move him over there? You mean to tell me if it's a communication thing, you mean to tell me that Jordan Meredith is better at communicating where the blitzes are coming from and these disguises and these looks over a guy that won the Remington at Oregon, is the best center in football? You know why JPJ was drafted in the 2nd round? Because he was the best center in fucking college football. It's not a crazy concept here. Put the players where they need to be. If Parham is better at right guard, just push him on the right side. Even if DJ Glaze, if you feel he's struggling at right tackle, maybe put somebody next to him that'll help him elevate his game, or push him to guard. He's played guard before. Whatever the fuck you do, Pete, if you go into Sunday with this exact same O-line at the same exact positions, I'm convinced that you're stuck in your ways, and two, you just don't give a fuck. At this point, give me Charles Grant. Give me Caleb Rogers. You say they're not ready to go yet. They're not developed yet. Hey, man, you don't use those kind of draft picks, those middle round guys, to just not play them. Activate them. Give them some reps. Let's just see what they can do with some live bullets. It can't get any worse than this shit, you guys. It can't. It can't. It can't. It can't. And man, down there you go. Don Wagner, 6'7". Miller, he's like 6'9", 6'10". Lockie, 6'7". JPJ, Tonio Mafi. JM, Mumford's gone. I think Mumford signed with the Patriots. A guy that played terrible in preseason, had a really, really rough training camp, but also a guy, though, that can play left tackle, right tackle, guard spot. Just let him go. Everybody was screaming, get rid of Mumford. He sucks. Yeah, but guess what? Every one of these motherfuckers look like Mumford right now. So was it Mumford? Was it Mumford? Have we ever seen Mumford look that bad, you guys? Have we ever seen Mumford look that bad? No. No. All these guys look like they're Mumford right now. Parham, Meredith. Maybe it wasn't a Mumford problem. Maybe it wasn't a Mumford problem. Get rid of Thayer Mumford. Now you got 5 fucking Thayer Mumfords on your line. Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch? Nasty work. Got rid of a guy that could play every position outside of center on your O-line. Get rid of him. We don't need him. We got Dylan Parham. A guy that you're not going to pay next offseason. The guy's going to be a free agent. He's getting all the reps at left guard. All of them. Makes sense. So last thing I'm going to say, you guys, before I get out of here, salute to my guy, the boss, being a member for 13 months. I appreciate you, my brother. That means a lot. And let me get this super in real quick. Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers at guard with JPJ at center. I would love it, Rube. Darian Porter needs more burn. He definitely got a ton more reps against the Commanders, which is great. Besh, Porter, Grant, Rogers were second and third round picks. Premium draft picks, not getting burned. Some not even fucking active. Rube, sometimes I feel like, how are us fans smarter than some of these motherfuckers that are in the building? How does it make sense, Rube? My dog. I appreciate you, brother. Factory outlet. I'll say this before I get out of here, guys. Pete, if there's another Raiders performance on Sunday against this Chicago Bears team where Caleb Williams went out there, threw the ball almost 30 times, had 4 touchdowns, had 300 yards in the air, wasn't sacked once. Looks like that old line is starting to clean it up a little bit, right? Still not running the football effectively like that, but they're throwing the ball all over the place. And they'll probably find their ground game against the Raiders. That's just what happens. You know, when you got, guys like, fucking Jeremy McNichols running crazy on you, it is what it is. Chicago got the shit together. It looks like they got the shit together. Pete, if you have another performance like the Chargers and Commanders game 3 weeks straight, you're going to lose this fan base. You're already damn near there. You're already damn near there. I mean, if you could just go to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook or wherever the fuck you get all your news from, and you can see it. You can see it. If there's another performance like the Commanders game this Sunday, you can lose this fan base for good. After trying to build this thing up, free training camp, and we need you guys to be here. Okay, look, you need us to be there? We've been there, Pete. We need you to fucking be here. Go out there, coach these guys up, and get us a fucking win, man.